You gotta be like CR7 in the second leg. We all know what made him different. Because when the pressure got heavier, expectations got louder, with everybody watching, and somehow I managed to perform. That mentality applies to life more than it does to football. Because everybody can look confident when there's nothing on the line. But who are you when you're expected to deliver? I'm just a rapper, talking about topics that I find too long to fit in a song, how I feel about them, and this is one of them. Every man gets a second leg. Every guy reaches a moment where excuses disappear and life stops clapping for your potential. Because you've had like a year, maybe 2 years, 3 years, or even more to showcase what is it that you can actually do. You've been a prospect, and now what have you done with it? And that is exactly where people start expecting results. You gotta show what have you been doing, what is it that you've done. And that is exactly where you come to the realization that nobody cares anymore about what you could become. And when that moment hits, that is exactly where your second leg begins. Pressure reveals who really prepared. Because you all know that regardless of the circumstances and the environments that we come from or that we still continue to live in, there are people that year in, year out change their lives for the better. And then it comes to you. You gotta look at yourself and then comes to the realization that you can't have excuses anymore. If somebody else made it out, succeeded, what's stopping you? When someone else made it, then what's stopping you? That's it. Those are the things you gotta realize, that what is it that's stopping you because somebody else managed to do it. I once came across a video of a man who said that is the biggest could have been. And I love that video so much because I think a lot of us relate to it. We spend years and years wasting our potential because we know how good we are at something or how good we could even be. And I also read something that said everybody loves the dream until responsibility steps in. And I genuinely believe that this applies in relationships as well. Because every guy can be romantic at the beginning, every guy can raise a girl up, give compliments, and all of that. And then we call it the honeymoon phase. And a part of me always questioned that. Why is it that we call it the honeymoon phase and then the later stages of the relationship are not titled? I believe that anybody can say I love you when it's easy. People can give compliments. But what truly happens when your partner needs reassurance and she's going through it? Do you still act the same way? Or you just sit? What about when communication gets difficult? You know, when you have issues, when you guys are going through, or when you specifically going through it as a guy, we tend to shy away and bottle our emotions, even with things that we don't like. Why do we do that? And then complain that our relationships are not the same anymore. It's crazy because we tend to keep quiet a lot, especially when things are not going our way or things are going well. Why is it so hard for us to communicate when there are things we don't like in our relationships? Why is it that we don't want to communicate when there are things that we don't like about our partner? There's nothing wrong with that. And I genuinely believe that if you communicate, even no matter how bad the thing is, but if it's eating you up, it's definitely going to eat your relationship up. So I believe that if your partner doesn't take it well and they feel as if splitting up or separating is the best option for the relationship, then so be it. So be it, because we tend to bottle our emotions so much and we end up with the bottle. I don't know if you get this, but yeah. Bottling things up and then expecting miracles to just pop up and mysteriously fix your relationship is something that'll never happen. You gotta make things work. You gotta make things work, and nobody else will if you do not communicate the ways you feel and everything else. Every guy wants love, every guy wants to be loved, but then the lack of communication and taking responsibility is actually what keeps a lot of guys' relationships shitty, and it keeps a lot of guys single as well. Some of us don't even realize that love requires presence, and a lot of it. Failure hits you different when you know you are expected to win. It hits you different when you know that you could have delivered and you did not. And that kind of failure haunts you because now you know you had the abilities, you know that you could have done more, but then you didn't give your all and somehow you did not win. That thing stays with you, it haunts you. And it's not even the fact that you lost, it's the thoughts that keep replaying in your head that remind you that you could have given your all but you did not. That type of failure haunts you, and it strikes at the most random times, that when you sit and replay the moments of where you were actually expected to win and you know that you took it lightly and you never delivered, that type of pain is different. And I'm one of the people that tend to take things lightly, especially when I know I'm good at something. I just tend to relax a lot and then come into the realization that later on that someone actually outdid me. It always eats me up, and I know I'm not the only one who has regrets like that. I believe that there's a lot of us genuinely believe that. But again, I do believe that it's not even the fact that you take it lightly, it's because of the habits and that we tend to build. You know, we don't want to leave our comfort zone, and it exposes you. It truly exposes you that failing knowing that you had the abilities and the talent to achieve or win, but you did not, that pressure exposes you. That pressure exposes you. That pressure exposes your habits. And I don't know where I get the confidence. Because confidence comes from preparation and consistency, discipline, showing up when you're tired, and being reliable. And real confidence isn't loud. Confidence is not loud at all. Like, the most confident people don't need to point out other people's flaws or how they are better than other people. You just see it in what they're doing. They just focused on what they're doing or what they're supposed to do in themselves. And that's it. That's it. They don't need to know who's the opponent, who are they going up against. They just focus on what they have to do, and that's it. And confidence comes from repetition as well. Going through things time and time again better prepares you for any kind of event. And also preparation, because there's nothing that beats the feeling of knowing that you prepared for something. I don't know if you relate, but it's like getting a job interview or going to write an exam, knowing very well that you're prepared for it and you're ready. Once you get there, things go your way, the way you prepared. It just brings out a different kind of good feeling than you would get maybe from a job interview that came out of nowhere, or that exam that was announced a day ago. You know, preparation is one of the best things that you could ever do as a person for yourself. And also knowing that you can be relied on those are one of the best things ever. Because anybody can talk a big game in the first leg, but greatness is remembered on the second one. This is exactly why I say you gotta be like CR7 in the second leg. You gotta show up and be tough when life gets heavy. You gotta show up knowing that people are depending on you. And I know some guys have this thing of saying things like, I didn't ask for anybody to depend on me. That's just a cowardly voice in your head and weakness. So don't listen to it, because every one of us has somebody depending on us in this world. Every one of us. So show up when the pressure becomes uncomfortable. Going through things you know you don't want to go through, and going through things that maybe you're even afraid to go through. We all gotta go through it. Every one of us has to. Because at the end of the day, everybody can show up when it's easy to. But true legends are made by performing when everything is on the line.